In the summer of 2022, the world watched transfixed as one of Hollywood's most beloved stars sat in a Virginia courtroom, fighting not just for money, but for something far more precious, his reputation. The defamation trial between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard became more than a legal proceeding. It transformed into a cultural phenomenon that would forever change how we view celebrity, truth, and the power of public perception. The story begins in 2016, when Johnny Depp's marriage to Amber Heard crumbled amid allegations of domestic violence. But the real devastation came 2 years later. In 2018, Heard published an op-ed in the Washington Post positioning herself as a survivor of sexual and physical violence. Though she never mentioned Depp's name, the implications were unmistakable. The consequences were swift and merciless. Disney, the studio that had made billions from Depp's portrayal of Captain Jack Sparrow, severed ties immediately. The man who had brought magic to millions of children worldwide suddenly found himself persona non grata in Hollywood. When asked what he had lost, Depp's response was haunting in its simplicity. Nothing less than everything. 6 years of silence had taken their toll, but Depp's testimony revealed a man determined to reclaim his truth. About 6 years ago, Miss Heard brought these disturbing criminal acts against me that were not based in any species of truth, he stated with quiet dignity. But it was Depp's strategic foresight that would prove crucial. Recognizing Heard's pattern of denial, he had begun recording their conversations. She had completely denied things she'd said directly to my face, so I said, I'm going to record us. And I did. These recordings would become the trial's smoking gun, revealing a disturbing pattern of manipulation and gaslighting. In one particularly damning exchange, Heard's voice cuts through the courtroom speakers. Heard, that contradicted years of public narrative. Depp as the victim who chose flight over fight, removing himself from escalating situations rather than retaliating. Heard's defense team understood they needed to provoke Depp to make him lose control and validate their portrayal of him as volatile. They played a video of Depp aggressively slamming kitchen cabinets, hoping to trigger an outburst. When confronted about his mega pint of wine, Depp's response showcased the wit that had endeared him to millions. A mega pint? I poured myself a large glass of wine. I thought it necessary. His ability to maintain composure while injecting humor demonstrated a man who had learned to weaponize his charm in service of truth. When Heard took the stand, she delivered emotionally charged testimony describing alleged brutal attacks. He just hit me over and over and over again, pounding the back of my head, pounding it with his fist. And I thought, this is how I die. He's going to kill me now. However, Depp's legal team had crafted a methodical strategy to expose inconsistencies. The cross-examination about her promised charitable donations became a masterclass in revealing character. When pressed about her failure to donate the $7 million divorce settlement to charity as promised, Heard's semantic gymnastics were telling. Lawyer, you still haven't donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity, isn't that right? Heard, I pledged the entirety of the settlement to charity. Lawyer, I don't use pledge and donations synonymously. Sitting here today, you have not donated the $7 million to charity? Heard, I use pledge and donations synonymous with one another. This exchange crystallized the defense strategy. If someone could lie about giving money to sick children, what else might they fabricate? Perhaps the most compelling moment came when Heard's photographic evidence was challenged. She claimed 2 nearly identical photos showed different lighting, but experts suggested digital manipulation to enhance facial redness. When Officer Melissa Saines testified she saw no injuries on Heard's face the night of the alleged phone-throwing incident, the contradiction became stark. What made this trial unprecedented wasn't just the celebrity factor, it was how social media transformed legal proceedings into entertainment. Depp's mega pint response became a meme. His courtroom sketches inspired fan art, The trial became appointment television for millions, with viewers parsing body language and vocal inflections like amateur detectives. This represented a seismic shift in how justice unfolds in the digital age, where public opinion can be as powerful as legal verdicts. When the jury delivered 3 unanimous yes verdicts on Depp's defamation claims, it represented more than legal victory, it was cultural vindication. The jury found that Heard's statements were false, defamatory, and made with actual malice. Significantly, Depp chose not to pursue the full financial penalty, settling for $1 million instead of bankrupting his ex-wife. This restraint spoke to a man seeking justice, not revenge. Today, Johnny Depp has completely bounced back. He's starring in films again, receiving standing ovations at film festivals, and slowly rebuilding the career that was nearly destroyed. But perhaps more importantly, he's proven that truth, when supported by evidence and delivered with dignity, can prevail against even the most damaging allegations. The Depp Heard trial will be remembered as a watershed moment, a reminder that in our age of instant judgments and viral accusations, the patient pursuit of truth still matters. It showed us that redemption is possible, that reputations can be rebuilt, and that sometimes the courtroom remains the last sanctuary where facts triumph over fiction. In the end, this wasn't just Johnny Depp's victory, it was a victory for anyone who has ever been falsely accused, demonstrating that with courage, evidence, and persistence, even the most devastating lies can eventually be overcome.